for sure. Thought we had a great crowd tonight, so it would have been great to give them a little bit more to get fired up about. Appreciate the students coming out, and thought we had a really good turnout. I have to give La Tech credit. I think they played hard, played really disciplined, made us earn everything we get, or everything that we did get. Just disappointed with. I feel like we hold them to 60 points. We got to be able to find a way to win a game where we hold a team to 60 points. And I thought heading into halftime, wasn't pleased with how we had rebounded, our lack of rebounding. I thought that proved to be something we struggled with throughout the game. And we were able to get some stops, but they continually just fought and battled, and were able to get second and third chances, either to score or some ill-advised fouls, at times. And felt like the entire game we were just having to call a play every time down, whether it be off of a dead ball or off of a make. And we really got stagnant on offense.
It was 34-33, and they go on a 12-2 run. What did you see there? What happened at that point?
I feel like there's a lot going through my head right now. So I just felt like most of the second half, especially into the end of the third quarter, into the third to fourth quarter. I mean, we were very stagnant, and then I think it turned into, for us, rather than getting through our layers on offense and getting the ball moving, it turned into a lot of probably ill-advised one, maybe two passes, not a whole lot of ball movement, and getting quick shots. And obviously they weren't going down. They're extremely disciplined on defense. They're gonna, like I said, they're going to make you earn everything you get, but. I thought we had a lot of kind of maybe just breaking some plays off and going one-on-one, and we're not really built like that, just schematically. But I thought we needed to try to exploit them inside. I thought we did that to an extent, but then we got stagnant, kind of caught just staring at them, looking rather than getting them in the flow of stuff.
Coach, 2 straight games have kind of been down offensive performance for Cayman. Do you think that's more of a product of just being in a slump, or the league kind of adjusting to what she does on that end and game planning a little different?
No, I don't think it's a slump. I just think she's not going to get anything easy. I mean, when you come out and you put up the kind of numbers she's been putting up, especially early in conference play, and you have 31 and 15. I mean, it's not hard to figure out that, hey, that's a kid that we need to key on and make her earn everything she gets. And so, that's an adjustment, just because she's the focal point of every team scouting report. I mean, why wouldn't she be? And so, I think they've made things really difficult, but that's why it's really important that we're able to get through actions, that we're able to get through stuff, because it's not going to be, Cayman, you can touch the ball whenever you want and get whatever shot you want. She still ended up getting 11 shots tonight. Probably need to be a little more efficient, but we got to try to find a way to get her, some more looks, some easy looks, things that can maybe help her a little bit. But the more everybody else does too, the more it's going to help her.
And Coach, one of the gals had a hand in this game a lot was Nyla, but she had kind of an off night tonight. How do you get her going? Because if Cayman's getting double teamed or not having her usual night, how do you get someone like her going, or Macy or someone else picking up the slack on the guard end for that production?
Yeah, I think that's something that we've got to find. I think I think Nyla's really good in kind of creating, especially out of ball screen offense and things like that. I think probably I was hoping that she would get a little bit more of maybe playmaking, not necessarily just for herself, but for others. And that's a read. Those are reads. I think, to play make, and if she can get 2 people to guard her, can she find somebody else? And so at times I was hoping maybe we move the ball a little bit more, but you certainly want, you don't want her to be stagnant and just looking for everybody else and not be assertive either. So, it's kind of twofold, but that comes with experience. We'll have to, we'll watch some film and we'll look at it, and but we need some other people stepping up and trying to find ways to make everybody else's job a little bit easier.
Obviously Saturday, could be some weather, could be some attendance, could be nobody attendance, just depends. So how do you guys try to ask Washington, how do you guys create an atmosphere if there maybe is no atmosphere to support you guys?
Yeah, it was kind of disappointing because I thought we had a really good crowd tonight. We had the students come out, so it's disappointing that we didn't give them a whole lot to really get excited and cheer about. So, although we had a lot of people in the stands, I don't know if we're not playing well, I don't know if the atmosphere is going to be much different, because we didn't really give them, we didn't take advantage of having a really good crowd to really let them kind of help us with the momentum and get things going and put the pressure on Louisiana Tech. So I think it was kind of the way we played took our crowd out of it a little bit. So I don't know. They gotta, if you can't, you only get so many chances to put a uniform on. If you can't get motivated to play the game by the time you get to put a uniform on, I think something's wrong with you, because you only get 30 some a year. You spend a lot more time in practice than you do games. So whether there's a few people in the stands or a lot of people in the stands, you gotta find some motivation to want to get out and compete, and especially coming out after our last 2 games. Like you gotta have a sense of urgency to want to get out and compete and right the ship, regardless who's in the gym.
I know you've talked about this team sometimes, right, has sluggish starts, but then you guys find a way to will yourself back in games. Were you expecting the girls to will themselves back in this one, or was it like, tonight just kind of doesn't seem like we just have it?
I don't think you can have nights where you feel like you just don't have it. Like, you might have nights where you feel like you don't have it. Maybe you're getting looks and your shot's not going down and things like that, but that has nothing to do with our lack of a sense of urgency on rebounding. I thought that that we didn't have enough time. We weren't the first to 50-50 balls, to loose balls, to the rebounds, free throw box outs. I mean, I thought we just didn't have a sense of urgency to understand, like, that stuff's going to be the difference in the ball game. You don't have a whole lot of room for error when you're playing a really good team like this, and I mean that's across the board. That's all these games. There's not going to be a whole lot of room for error, and you've got to try to control the things you can control. And I thought that was a big area that we could have done a better job controlling, and for whatever reason, we didn't have that sense of urgency to make that a priority, understanding that was going to be the difference in the ball game to an extent. And then if you try to control those things and you're having a tough night on offense, you can still find a way to win.